Hi, Salam Alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, Breaker of the Seven Seals. Sisters and brothers, we're going to go a little more in depth about the womb, because we're in the womb right now. We're about to birth a nation. Before you give birth, you have to come to the womb. Everyone should know that. So we're in the womb right now. And the war's about to break, and nation about to come forth. But let's study this womb business a little in more detail. See, we know traditionally we have the egg, we have the sperm. And the sperm is the nature of the male. That's the nature of the being that's coming forth. That's not going to change. That's the nature. But the egg has the nature of the woman. It's like well, it's like a sample of the woman. Right? I mean, it incorporates her nature, her DNA, her experiences, right? Because it represents her health. All that's building an egg because it's a small, like, I can't think of the word I want to use right now, but it's her. It's like a small cell. It's a cell. And it's her. Because all her cells represents her experiences in the world because because her body, right, responds to the environment around it and adjusts to it. And that's all in the cells. So continue to exist because once the cells out of sync with time, then that's called cancer. Right? So time destroys the body because it's out of sync. So her egg represents all of that. The environment outside, the womb, right, that she's dealing with every day. All that's incorporated in because that's what you see when you, every 7 years, approximately every seven years, right? Your body renews itself, but the cells come in. Those cells are adjusted to the environment, right, that you're in. Because that's why you keep reducing them because the environment changes. So your cells have to keep changing to keep up with the environment. That's what happens. You have every 7 years you get a cell renewal. In other words, you don't have the same cells you had 7 years ago. So the cells keep changing because the environment keeps changing. The cells have to change, right, to adjust to environmental conditions. Well, that's incorporated in the egg because egg is a cell itself. So when the sperm enters into the egg, it gets all of that because the egg prepares the sperm for the life outside the womb. Because life outside the womb changes, right? From time to time. So you have to be prepared for the life outside the womb, not life, any life. You have to prepare for life outside the womb if you want to survive in this world. You have to prepare for life outside the womb. And that's what the egg gives you. It gives you that information, aside from the fact that DNA, because what happens is that you have weak DNA strands and your mother has strong DNA strands for the same thing. For instance, eye color. Dark eyes are more dominant than light eyes. So if your gene has a light eye, you have a light eye gene, and your mother has a dark eye gene, then you're going to replace the light gene for the dark gene because you're going to take the stronger ones. That's not going to change your nature. It's just like if you put a tree seed in the ground, if the ground is strong, then the seed will grow up strong. If it's weak, then the seed will grow up weak. It will grow up weak. See? So the egg adds strength, see, to the sperm, but it doesn't change the nature. Nothing can do that. So understand that process. So in other words, the egg prepares you for the outside world. It doesn't change your nature. The sperm comes, it gets into the egg, and prepares for the outside nature. Although the sperm that was distracted, everything else is washed down, it's flushed down the toilet. It never gets into the new creation. It never even knows it exists. It's alive. The sperm are alive, but their life is ended, effectively ended, because they did not reach the egg. Only the ones that weren't, the one that wasn't distracted, that was focused, it's the one that made it. So it moves into a new creation. So that's what happens, brothers and sisters. Let's look at that from another perspective. See, every time a nation is coming in, you see, we have the same process. It's the people. The people, that's the nature. But also a prophet, a messenger comes, right, to prepare them for life outside the womb. It warns them, it tells them, it prophesies them, it prepares them for life outside the womb. And those who believe, right, they are prepared. The disbelievers are not prepared, so they do not survive. They come forth stillborn. Or they come forth deformed. There's different levels of deformation. We'll talk about that in a second. But that's what the prophet and messengers also meant, often characterized as a woman, see, who nourishes the baby. Elijah Muhammad was like that's why Muhammad came and established the Nation of Islam. But Elijah Muhammad nourished it 40-some years. So the messenger and the prophet often characterized as a woman because they're the ones that prepare you for life outside the womb. They come and they tell you what you need to do to prepare. So you be prepared for life outside the womb. And that's what Suleiman's job is, prepare you for life outside the womb, because nation is about to be birthed, and he's preparing you for life outside. So when you come forth, you don't come forth stillborn, you don't come forth deformed, you come forth strong and ready to deal with life outside the womb, because he's gonna tell you what it's like, what you need to be prepared. What you need to do be prepared. You take uh, just a normal situation, right? Um, when a woman she has a child, it depends on the nation that the child is born in, or region, or part of the world, and that child has to be prepared for that environment that it's coming into, or it will not survive it. So, what environment are we coming into? They tell us we're going to be born at a time of unprecedented trouble. That means you have to be prepared. That's the environment you have to be prepared for. Otherwise, you're going to be destroyed. You won't make it. I'm trying to make this as clear as possible, brothers and sisters. The environment that you're coming into, you're going to be born into, is a time of unprecedented trouble. So you have to be prepared. It's my job to prepare you, to prophesize and tell you what it's going to be like. So you be prepared for it. When you come forth from the womb, you be prepared for it. Let's divert for a minute and talk about this deformation situation. See? Deformed. There's different levels of deformation. There's the physical, there's the mental, there's the spiritual, different levels. The Bible talks about physical deformation because like ruining your soul. You think you got some special soul, different. No, your soul is just your body. If you understand the body, the soul is just your body. And the Quran it tells you said they have ruined their soul. What does that mean? That means by using the womb, you was preparing yourself, you was abusing yourself, you was taking drugs and all kinds of things you was doing, and so you come forth all screwed up. Your body's messed up. You're alcoholic. You're addicted, right? Your organs are all screwed up, right? See? It's like fire cause he's disemboweled. You cannot fix that. So you come forth in some kind of physical condition that cannot be fixed because you abuse yourself. Now you got a heart transplant, right? We're not going to maintain that in the hereafter. You abuse yourself such to such extent that it cannot be repaired. That's the physical deformation. That's one aspect of physical deformation. You did something to yourself that cannot be prepared. You went out there and you took drugs. Now you're blind. Or you got a severe case of diabetes that cannot be fixed. Or you got some STD, some serious sex disease, because you abuse yourself and didn't apply your energy, right, to protect yourself and develop yourself, right? Because I said we're suffering a self-imposed energy deprivation because you're not taking the energy that you have to take and self create yourself. In other words, to bring yourself, to perfect yourself. That's what you should be doing. You should be doing living a righteous life, protecting yourself, using energy to better yourself, to improve yourself, and to build your nation. That's what your energy should be used for. And if it's not, then you may have ruined your soul. So there's no hope for you. Once your soul is ruined, there's no hope for you. There's no hereafter for you. That's the physical deformation. Now, what about the mental? Instead of studying the things, you come forward with that religion, Christianity, and all this other stuff. You come forth mentally. That's the story about the person that comes to the wedding, but they wasn't dressed for the wedding. So you come forth mentally deformed. You come forth mentally deformed. Now, that in many cases, that can be repaired. We'll talk about that in a minute. That can be repaired in many situations, but you come forth mentally deformed. You see? Unless you come forth physically, mentally deformed, in other words, you're insane, you can drive yourself crazy, then that gets back to initially what we were talking about initially, right? Physical deformation. So you drove yourself physically crazy, insane. You come back mentally deformed. Take it illogically, not mathematically. Then you come forth mentally deformed. And in some cases, that can be fixed, reconciled. What about spiritual deformed? Okay, that's come forth. You come forth the heart zone. See? Emotionally, deformed. See? It's a big ball of emotion. You have no emotional control of yourself. And I can get to mental deformation again. I can get back to that. Insanity. Those are just three examples of being deformed because you didn't apply your energy, right, to maintain your health, to build your nation, to build yourself. Because this is a time of the womb, and we just come out of energy deprivation, so we just have enough energy to maintain ourselves. And you should be using the energy to do that. We just have enough energy to maintain ourselves and to build our nation. That's all the energy we have at this point in time. And you should be using all your energy for that purpose. If you're not, you're going to come forth deformed. You're not going to be completely deformed. You're not completely formed, in other words. You're going to be deformed. You'll be missing this, missing that limb, whatever. You're not come forth formed because you didn't use energy to form. That's what the womb is. That's why the womb is such as it is. It keeps out everything, blocks out everything, so you can focus totally on constructing yourself, self-creation. But see, the demons have gotten into the womb, and they're there to distract you. So you come forth deformed. And that's what the messenger is for. He's to prepare you, to tell you, right, what you need to know so you can be prepared. Like he says, he serves the he serves as the egg to prepare you for the world beyond the womb. And he warns you. He, he warns you and guides you and tells you how you should be using your energy, right, to prepare for life outside the womb. Because he prepared you for life outside the womb. And he prepared you have to be focused 100%. And some listen, that's the believers, and some don't, that's the disbelievers. And disbelievers come forth deformed. Most of them lost. And that's what the situation is, brothers and sisters. Because that's why the messenger comes. He's a prophet, and says Suleiman be the greatest prophet in history because he gives you a book that teaches you how to be a prophet. So he's telling you exactly what you need. He's telling you exactly what you need to know. Prepare for the time of unprecedented trouble, because that's the time. That's the world you're gonna be coming into. That's the world you're gonna be birthed into, and you must be prepared for that world. Otherwise, you will come forth deformed. You come forth um, stillborn, or just outright aborted, because you were not prepared for it. You'll be out of sync. And that's another form of deformation. That's a major form of deformation when you're out of sync. Because you must be in sync with the world that you're coming into. Otherwise, you will not be successful in it. And you might just be stillborn right away because you're already out of sync with the world that you're coming into. So you're not ready for it. And one aspect of that is if the world you're coming into is a world of war, and you're not prepared for war, you're out of sync. That means you're going to be destroyed the moment you step out of the womb. Because you have no defenses of anything, and they're standing with knives and cut your throat, and you have no defense of anything because you weren't prepared for a world of war, because that's the world you're going to be birthed into. And Suleiman's trying to prepare you for that word, and you don't want to listen to it. And that's the problem most black folks are having, and that's what we're going through right now. A lot of black folks going to be lost. See, when they talk about flee, why you got to do all these things? Because you ignored. See, you're part of those who was deformed, because you wasn't prepared for the war, the world of war. The world is preparing for war. That's the environment we're in. The world. You look around. The world is preparing for war. That's the environment you're gonna be birthed into, and you're not being prepared for that. How do you think you're gonna survive that? The world's preparing for war. That's the environment that you're going to be birthed into. That's what the world is going to be that you're coming into, a world of war, a world that's look for your destruction, and you're not prepared for it. That's why you have to flee. That's why you have to do all these different things, because you wasn't prepared for that. You should be prepared. Elijah Muhammad set the example. You should have been preparing for that. So when the birth is born, you be prepared for battle. But you're not prepared for battle because the enemy has you distracted with all kinds of BS, telling you everything is okay. You know, you can have my woman, you can do this, you can do that, right? You can have this money, right? You can do all these different things. You can be a political person. We're going to work together. We're going to overcome. We're going to be one nation. And you got Farrakhan, the lead demon on this project, because they use the demons to do it. The demons are in the womb with you doing it. To keep you diverted, so you come forth deformed, so you're not ready for the world that you're about to come into. So when you come into it, you come in stillborn, you get your throat cut, right? You're aborted as soon as you come in through the world. Because you wasn't prepared for it. That's why you got to flee, you got to do all those different things you got to do, because you wasn't prepared for it. And that's why so many of you are going to be killed and wiped out, because you come into a world of war and you're not prepared for war. Do you see the original nation preparing for war? No, you do not. But you see, the whole world is preparing for war. And why is the world preparing for war? Because they prepare for war against you. You're the center of this thing. You're the world. You're the center of this, of Armageddon. And the world's preparing for war against you, and you ain't preparing for war. Doesn't that seem strange to you? That doesn't rock your boat? that this whole world's preparing for war against you. I swear your enemies are. And why? And the whole world's preparing for war against you. And you preparing for war. Doesn't that seem strange to you? There's something wrong with that? You're the only nation on the world is not preparing for war. Every nation on the planet is preparing for war except for you. And you're about to be birthed into this world that's preparing for war, and you're not prepared for it. It says only 144,000 were prepared for it. They will come forth as a great army. They will be prepared for it, but you will not. And so many of you will be killed. That's why you got to flee. And many of you are going to die in the process because you're not prepared for it. You're going to come into a world of knives and guns and everything, and you have nothing, no defense, anything. You don't even know what's going on. You're confused. Many of you on the mental level, you're confused. You have a sick, so you have no idea what's going on. You come to the world, you don't know who your enemies are, and they're all around you. You don't know who the demons are. You don't know who anyone is. Your enemies all around you, and you don't even know who they are. That's mental deformed. You're confused. How long do you think you're going to last in that environment? Do you not understand, brothers and sisters? You're not prepared. It says only 145,000 will come forth prepared because they paid attention and they studied. It didn't mean that suddenly Suleiman just prophesied and they just popped out. No, that means they were preparing. The scripture, they were preparing now. They were preparing the whole time, the whole 30 years. They were preparing. They was using energy in a proper way. Not only them, but the ones I revealed to you last time, those that they did it inadvertently because they just didn't have any energy, right, to abuse. They all the energy they had, they required to take care of themselves and their families. They was poor. They didn't have any energy for anything else. So they inadvertently prepared for the world coming, right? Because they was prepared. They were strong. They came forth healthy. You see. So all they needed was a little preparation, but they came forth healthy. But most of you, that's not going to do. And that's what the incubation period is all about. Because see, the Levites, right, they were, Elijah Muhammad brought them through their womb. Remember, there was 2 resurrections. So they came forth through their womb, but then God aborted them. So Suleiman had to resurrect them and prepare them, right, for the incubation period, because their job was to take and assist him, right, in preparing you for the womb. This nation, the original nation coming, their job was to help him prepare you, right, coming to the womb. They didn't do that. And Suleiman was walking by himself. He had to do it by himself. So now, right, because you was prepared, and those of you survived, right? Let's back up a little bit. Once an abomination of desolation takes place, that's that time that you come forth from the womb. And many of you are going to be slaughtered. Many of you are going to be slaughtered because you wasn't prepared for the war. You wasn't prepared for this world of war that you birthed into. Many of you will be slaughtered. That said, flee. Many of you are not going to flee. Many of you won't know to flee. Many of you flee too late. You'll be slaughtered because you're confused, because you was prepared. That's why you even have to flee. Because if you were prepared, you wouldn't have to flee. You was prepared. So now you come into a world of war and you're not prepared, so you run it trying to figure out what to do. So they all eventually all come together, those that survive it. Then we have to push out the demons, get them out of the way. And if it wasn't for the black Africans, the ones here, right, that are prepared, because they're going to attack all black people. If it wasn't for them, most of you wouldn't even survive to flee, because they give you a little cover, a little respite, a little extra room to get the hell out of town, because they're going to be fighting back. Okay? But then that's the resurrection and the birth. And many of you come forth, you're not prepared. It says only 144,000 will come forth prepared. That's been a great army. And they offer you a little protection for a short period of time because they're going to be delivered. So you will not have the protection of that army. The only army you have protection of is the Levite army, because during that time, that's when Suleiman's going to prepare them, right, resurrect them, and prepare them for battle. See? That's the tribulation. That's the incubation period. That's that little extra little room when you come forth premature or you're not ready. They put you in incubator, right, to give you a little more time to develop. That's what the tribulation is for. Give you a little more time to develop, and that's what the Levites are here for, right? To monitor that situation, to help you, right? Because they're basically incubators to help you finish the process of putting yourself together, preparing. See, but you're outside the womb at that point, and it's still a hostile situation, and you got to go through the tribulation, and the only army you got to help you. Those that pay attention, remember, and when you go to tribulation, all of you are not going to be together. Some of you are going to be with the Levites, and they got to take and try to pull you together and rescue those, right, that have not ruined their souls. Try to correct your mind, get your mind back, get your focus, get you prepared for war. Because you're going to be in a state of war then, because you're going to be constantly attacked 24/7. That's what it says in Exodus. They're going to chase you from one end of America to the other to destroy you. And the Levites, the only army that's going to provide you any protection during that period of time, while you're in the incubator. Because the Levites, they're going to be incubated themselves because they failed. Am I making sense to you, brothers and sisters? This is your life. Whether you agree with this or not, you're not going to. It's not going to change the fact that that's what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen to you if you don't move fast. Because right now, time is almost out. That's from the time glass, right? You know, the thing, the sand's almost out. I expect him to make his move any day now. I'm surprised he hasn't done it already. There's nothing that I see in the injury, anything else that prevents him from making this move at any time. Because the only delay it said is he was holding back because he wanted to give those who didn't know their right hand from their left an extra little time before he made his move. And that's the only thing that's between us and the abomination of desolation is that period, and how long that period lasts. It doesn't tell you exactly. That's why it says no man knows, because he decided to take that extra little time to give you a little more time, right, in the womb, right? A little more time to get yourself ready for life outside the womb. Because when you come outside the womb, brother, sister, you come out of that womb of utter destruction, a time of unprecedented trouble. And you're not ready. Black folks are not prepared. Everyone else is preparing for war except you. And when you come out from the womb, you're going to be faced with all these nations breathing down your throat, bloodthirsty to kill you, and you're not prepared for it at all. None. Because they got your mind, you're the only nation got your mind totally distracted with all kinds of BS. America might be telling you all this stuff, but they stay preparing for war. They got you folks in NFL and Kanye and all that kind of stuff. But they prepare for war every day. Just keep you distracted because they know you are the object of this whole thing. You're the center of it. If they keep you distracted, so you come forth deformed or deformed or stillborn, that's great for them, and they just abort the rest. Because that's what they say they're going to try to abort you, try to destroy the whole nation. They're going to succeed with many. They're not going to succeed with 144,000, because when they brought forth, it says when they come forth a great nation, they come forth prepared to fight, to defend themselves. but you're not doing that. So therefore, many of you are going to die in the process, fleeing or whatever, or not fleeing, left behind to the tribulation, destroyed in the tribulation. Well, sister, you causing this yourself because that's my job. My job is to get you prepared for life outside the womb, and you're not preparing. You're not paying attention at all because you're listening to the devil. He's distracting you. So he got you in a heart zone. So you happy because he giving you drugs and entertainment and all that kind of stuff because that's what they speak to the heart. And they got you in hanging out, grooving and moving, all that kind of stuff. While they preparing for war to destroy you. And they're going to attack you any minute now. Because when abomination of desolation, they're going to pull a mask off and they're coming after you bloodthirsty, and it won't be any bullshit at that point. See? And then at that point, you're not still be ready. That's why you got to run. Because if you was ready for battle, you wouldn't have to flee. See, when you're caught off guard and they come at you and you're prepared for battle, you got to run because you can't fight. You ain't prepared to fight, so you got to run unless you're suicidal. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to make it clear as possible. It's the womb. And time is running out. And most of you will end up, those of you survive, will end up in a tribulation that incubated that little period, and that's going to be hell on earth. To give you a little more time, right? To get your act together. It's that little extra time. And you're going to go through hell in the process. That's the womb. You're in the womb, brothers and sisters, right now. If you believe it, see, you don't believe the nation. See, the point is, you can't connect the dots here. You can't know where to cut in because you have no frame of reference. You don't even know that you're a nation about to be born. You don't even know that you're a nation because no one's telling you that. The only one's telling you that is myself. God's not teaching, not telling you a nation. No, we're gonna blend in with them. We're gonna bring devils to NOI. He's not telling you independent nation. And even so, we're gonna stay here with America. We're gonna have some 4, 5, 6 states and all this kind of stuff. He's not telling you about the promised land like you got alternative. He's not telling about the birth of a nation that you're going to be birthed at a time. It's right there in scripture. It says you're going to be birthed at a time of unprecedented trouble. That means you're going to be birthed into a world of hell. It's like a woman giving birth on the battlefield. Like a woman giving birth on the battlefield. And everybody's fighting and killing everything. She gives them birth on the battlefield. How long do you think that baby's going to last? Unless there's some people around to protecting them. That baby's born on the battlefield. And you're going to be born on the battlefield, brothers and sisters. This nation will be born on the battlefield. And you're not prepared for that at all. Zero. There's only 145,000 essentially prepared for it. That'd be the great army. And like I said, they're only going to defend you for a second, just long enough for the judgment to take place, and they're out of here. So you won't be relying on them to defend you while you sit around and try to pull yourself together. All you have is the Levites. And they're not so much defending you because they're going to be defending themselves. What they're going to be doing is they're trying to bring you along the process, but they're primarily going to be defending themselves. See? But their job is to try to bring you along, not necessarily defend you, because you still maybe just stupid and just don't give a damn. Their job is to bring you along and to get you, to wake you up, right? To complete your self-creation in an incubator, because that's why they put you in an incubator, so you can complete the process that you couldn't complete in the womb. That's their job, not necessarily protect you, because they're going to be busy protecting themselves. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. The womb. That's what it's all about. You're in the womb right now. Whether you accept it or reject it, that's up to you. See? Like when you put sperm in the womb, some of the sperm, only one of them has sense enough to focus. So one on them got the egg, and then it moved into a new creation. The rest of them was flushed down the toilet. It says 8 billion will be flushed down the toilet. 8 billion. 144,000 will crush. 8 billion they be flushed down the toilet. Never move into a new creation. Because that's what the promised land is, the new creation. You'll not be the same as you are right now. The Bible tells you that. You won't even be in the same form you are right now. You're going to be in a new creation. You're going to transform. It says you're going to be transformed in the twinkle of an eye. Read it. Just Google it. It says you'll be transformed in a twinkle of an eye. It's just like when that egg, that sperm is the egg, is transformed immediately. It's not like the sperm anymore. It's something else. And then it starts growing from that point on. It says you'll be transformed in a twinkle of an eye. You'll be something else. But you got to enter into the egg. You got to enter into that's the promised land, because that's where we're going. That's the new creation. He'll make all things new. See, that's what this birth is about. But you're not preparing to move into the next creation. That Christ says creation after creation, but you're not prepared for it. And you think this is going to be just like it is right now, and it's not going to be. And they got you. The world got you. They got you thinking about all kinds of stress. Oh, I'm worried about my mortgage. I'm worried about all these things, and you think they're important, or you won't think they're important in a second, because you wouldn't think they're important if you wasn't holding on to this world. It says Allah will lift you up, but you cling to the earth. So you got all these distractions. Oh man, my friend, my best buddy, my mortgage, my job. Which is important, but what are they? They're part of the gravitational vortex is holding you down, because you got to release all, and you can't do it. You got to release all that. So I had to do that to get this message. You had to give up everything. You think I got the? You think this just? The bolt hit me in my ass. I had to give up everything to break the seals, to study and get this message to you. I had to get I gave up everything. I lost everything. I'm not complaining. I had to give everything. That's what it took, because I had to focus all my energy on this message, all of it. Not 99%, not 99%, 99%, 100% to get this message to you. That's what it took. 30 years of hell, being in prison, homeless, and everything else. I kept focused. So I'm leading a new creation. Because we're going into a new creation. It says you'll be transformed in a twinkle. What does that mean? You'll be transformed in a twinkle of an eye. It means you won't be the same as you are right now. So what will you be? It says we do not yet know what we will be, but we know we'll be like him. Who is him? It says we do not yet know what we will be. That means you know who you are right now, but that means you ain't gonna be like you are right now. You're gonna be something else. That's the beauty. That's what's going on right now. And you're not prepared for any of that. So you're not going to be a part of that. You're going to be the sperm that was flushed down the toilet with the rest of the 8 billion. So you can think this is just rhetoric, hyperbolic talk. It's some old man just running his mouth. Okay. The scripture's there. You know, the truth of the scriptures. A lot of people out there, scholars and these priests, they know the truth of the scriptures. As they will tell you, because they're demons and everything else. They know at this point in time, the truth of the scripture is so clear. Farrakhan is so clear to see Farrakhan. That's if you're not in the heart zone. But they can't tell you because they want to keep you in the heart zone, because the only way to control you is they have to keep you in the heart zone. Because if they let you out of the heart zone into the mental zone right away, they can't control you anymore, because you can see things clearly. Because it's easy to see Farrakhan. You see all these people right now. It was hard maybe 10, 20 years ago. But now it's all simple to see everything. Unless you're in a heart zone. And that's why they want to keep you there. So you be deformed. So you come forth stillborn. See? Or just deformed. That's the demon's job. Farrakhan's the chief demon, and we're going to take care of him in a minute. So if you understand, brother, you're going to understand, don't understand, that's up to you. It's my job. Again, like I said, I'm like the egg. prepare you for life outside the womb. And I've been doing that. I've been telling you everything what you to expect. So if I tell you what to expect, and clearly it's going to be a war, it's going to be, I tell you all the details and everything, and you're not preparing for that. And then when you come outside the womb, then you want to know why you're getting your throat cut. I already told you what to prepare for. I'm preparing you for life outside the womb, a time of unprecedented trouble. I'm preparing you for that. And you sitting down there, not doing anything, not preparing. I'm giving you information to prepare you, giving you information for life outside the womb, telling you what's lack and everything. And then you're not preparing for it. And then you want to know why your throat's cut once you get outside the womb. Really? Because you don't know what life is outside the womb. You don't know what to expect. If I wasn't here, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't listen to Farrakhan. They wouldn't be telling you. You would have no idea. You would have no idea a nation was being born even with them. But once you know that, you would have an idea what to expect once you come outside the womb. I'm the only one telling you. They're not telling you. And then I'm telling you, and then you're not preparing for it. And then you want to know why your throat is being cut. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.